the timer's down now, okay? Yes. Well, good evening. My name is Henry Lowe, and I'm a candidate for seat number 4 on the Monterey City Council. Now, many of you, of course, know me over the years from my day job, working for legislators such as Mike Ying, Gloria Romero, and Ed Chow, as well as my 16 years on the Board of Education at the Garvey School District. But actually, I'd like to begin with a personal story about myself and my connection to Monterey Park. So, growing up, Monterey Park was a place that was very special to my family and inspired them in their imagination about a place to live. We actually grew up over in the Elks Free area of Los Angeles because my parents couldn't afford to live here in Monterey Park. They had simple, full-time jobs. However, they did all of their personal business here, shopping, banking, whatever they needed, it was here in Monterey Park. And it inspired them, I think, like it inspired many people to live in a city. And so 10 years ago, when I had the opportunity to buy a home in Monterey Park, it was a very proud moment for them that their son made it, grew up, and got to live in a city that inspired their imaginations. And I think that's what attracts a lot of people to this very unique city. And that's really why I'm running for city council, because I want to make sure that the promise of Monterey Park for the young families, the individuals who want to live here, you have the opportunity. And for those who live here, either for 4 decades or more recently, that the promise of a city that represents them, that works for them, that cares about their issues, is looked after. And in my door knocking, my ride off the police, I hear the issues that are important to all of us, from public safety, to traffic, to air quality, to housing, and other issues that I want to work on if elected as a council member for seat number 4. If any of you know my work as a school board member, if you talk to my superintendent, she'll tell you that my reputation is that of a peacemaker, because that is how my philosophy as an elected official, as a governing person, is that I want to bring people together to work on the issues and find solutions. And I see I have my 2 minutes are up. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Yu. I am a District 2 Monterey Park City Council candidate. I graduated from UCLA almost 30 years ago. And I have MBA from Loyola Marymount. I have CRCP from Wharton Business School, and also have 10 different security licenses. I used to work for Merrill Lynch as a regional manager, managing 5 branches, 53 financial advisors. 10 years ago, I started my own investment bank. And now I retired. I wanted to give back to the community on a full-time basis. I'm good at making money, so I want to make more money for the city. Everywhere we need money: road repair, firefighters, police, green environment, and even mainstream and local businesses. So I'm good at making money. I want to make the pie bigger so that everybody have enough to use. But one thing that I'm against is the marijuana retail business, because I think that it's a net loss to our city. Not good for kids, not good for public safety, not good for our housing price. And plus, they're doing a lot of cash business, not sure how they pay tax. And also continue to fight for the noise pollution. So we have 200 flyovers every day. Now, a lot of people said it's impossible to fight with FAA, but FAA changed route for Lake Arrowhead resident a few weeks ago because they fight. They fight for many years as well. So we need to continue to fight. Although I can't promise anything, but I will continue to fight for the resident best interest. And also, last thing is, actually, my husband is Chief Medical Officer of Allied Pacific IV. He managed 8,000 doctors in the community. We're not coming out for money, but purely for people. I hope to earn your vote as a public servant. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jennifer Love Tang. I'm running for Monterey Park City Council District 2. I'm a high school teacher. I'm a community activist. I've been living in Monterey Park since I was 10 years old. My parents are refugees. They moved to the United States having fled war, and for the first 10 years of my life, we lived in a tiny apartment in Los Angeles, and their dream was always to live here in Monterey Park. Every weekend as a young child, I went to Shun Fat Supermarket, came here for dim sum, and I can't tell you how much of a dream it was to actually move here as a young child. My parents knew that living here would give me the opportunities that I wouldn't have elsewhere. In Monterey Park is also where I learned my sense of service. Throughout all of high school, when I was a student at Mark Keppel High School, I was a volunteer at City Hall under Dan Costley. For years, I worked with him, helping him get together the wonderful events that he put on in our community. And I learned how important it was to be involved. And that's why when I was 21 years old, I decided to become a volunteer English teacher in Cambodia and then become a public school teacher as my career. I bring that sense of service and that dedication to my community as a candidate and hopefully as your representative on the City Council. I think that it is so important that our city have a working and a middle class champion. I think that it's so important that our city have somebody who is really entrenched in the community. I'm a listener. I'm somebody who will go out in the community, develop my platform based on what I hear. I'm somebody that will ask the right questions. I'm somebody who is actually...
I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked at general plan because I've been so busy with the school board. And those are things, I mean, that is what the city council asks the residents to do. And I'm sure that the residents will look at it and either approve or deny it or provide more input into the general plan. You know, it's a real involved task. I understand that, and I'm just sorry I have not been caught up in the general plan. Like I said, my school board takes up a lot of my time right now.
It's a bit of a conundrum, the fact that the general plan will be on the ballot. And the reason is I anticipate that most of the people in Monterey Park are not going to have enough information to make an educated decision. And when you feel you don't have enough information, the chances are you don't make a decision at all. It would be a very sad day, of course, if after all this work, we wind up with 20% of the people voting, 25% of the people voting. I have to introduce my wife. This is my wife, Wendy Young. I always introduce her because she's a lot prettier than I am, and people remember her better than they remember me. Wendy and myself discovered Monterey Park actually many years ago. We actually lived in Santa Monica, which was a wonderful city. But we kept coming here. We kept coming here because we enjoyed the culture. We kept coming here to be with friends, and we decided, well, this is the place really where we should live. So in 2008, we purchased a home here, and we put down roots. And I'm the kind of person that gets involved. When we were living elsewhere, when I was in my 30s, I'm a lot older than I look. I'm just well preserved. When I was in my 30s, I was a senator in the legislature of the United States Virgin Islands and was elected 3 terms. So I'm not unfamiliar with politics. Wherever I live, I want to participate and I want to contribute. I've been on the Community Participation Commission here. I presently serve on the Traffic Commission, for which I have to thank Peter because he nominated me. I'm very familiar with the problems in the area that I live in, which is District 3, and I've been working with the police department for many years trying to identify future problems so we can avoid them. This is a Chamber of Commerce. We have opportunities coming up because we're going to have many visitors because of the new hotels here. And we need creativity to keep, although I love Arcadia, and I love Alhambra, and I love San Gabriel, we want to keep our visitors here, spending their money here. So we need creativity in the next couple of years, developing ways to keep our visitors here, frequenting our local businesses here. I'm really interested in making sure that we take advantage of that opportunity. I look forward to your support. It's going to be an interesting race, and the red sign says stop. Thank you very much. Pick up some of my literature. Thank you.
My name is Bob Jin, and I've lived in the city for over 60 years. Since I was 7 years old in 1957, I came as a child. And the reason my parents lived in the city, moved to Monterey Park, is because they couldn't buy a home in San Pedro because they said they only could sell the homes to white people. And that's when my father came out here and bought a home. And this is where I've lived I was raised and I lived. I got married, and was married for 45 years. I have 4 wonderful daughters who attended Brightwood. In fact, I've got my 3rd generation of grandkids attending Brightwood too. So I have a long history here. My oldest daughter is a teacher at Brightwood. My second daughter is a pharmacist, and my other daughters are in for county, and my other daughter works for the Metropolitan Water Department. But I've been a community member for so long. I attended Brightwood School, Alhambra High School, went to East LA College for 2 years, and then attended Cal State LA. but I've always been a volunteer. I always give back to the community. I feel it's so important in all the work I've done. I've been involved in so many projects, not only here in the city of Monterey Park, but in the city of Los Angeles too. Working with the Chamber of Commerce on the New Year's Parade, and also doing one of the best Asian festivals in the city of Los Angeles, the Lotus Festival. But it's really, really nice to come back here to help out the city any way I can. But I know right now I currently am the president of the Monterey Park Library Foundation, which over the last 4 or 5 years we raised over $250,000 for the library, and the outpouring of our citizens coming out to support that is so tremendous. You know, and I'm running because I think I can bring something. I have a proven leadership in the community. I've been on the Board of Education for 18 years for the Alhambra Unified School District. Building one of the best school districts in San Gabriel Valley, because we have a lot of parents and families who want to move into Monterey Park and Alhambra. And it's a testimony to our staff and to our teachers. Thank you. I have that base to take care of our public service, the fire department, the police department, and look at our infrastructure. And then look at our streets. Some of the streets needs restoring or redone, and that's really important to the community. And I think that we can work with businesses, but I think the 2 hotel projects that are coming up that will bring in more businesses because it will establish a real nice business area. I think over the years, I hope we can develop a really nice business area. And I haven't seen the strategic plan or general plan for the city yet, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to be looking at those issues as they come up.
We need a level of creativity that we haven't seen, I think, for a while. For example, I'd like to see the Spirit Bus go down to the Gold Line and pick up people there and bring them back into the city. It's ironic, we're in walking, our boundaries are walking distance. And yet, people don't even know that the city is here. But it's that kind of thing. Maybe we need to think about a shuttle which moves around the city here. Maybe we need to think about attracting the kind of nightlife that we don't have in the city right now, appropriately zoned and so on and so forth. So I think a level of creativity which is absent right now, because we just have expected things to happen, but nobody has really come together in this community and said, how can we make this work? How can we make this a more business-friendly city? And one which attracts, if you want to attract young people, you have to have activities for young people. Ironically, our AMC Theater attracts lots of young people because it has Chinese films and things like that. So we have the potential to attract a younger generation. We simply need to capitalize on what works. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We know what kind of activities young people are interested in. For example, we have no karaoke here. I can tell you that in other cities where they have karaoke, and they're mobbed. They're just mobbed. And this is a simple investment, really. So now, all we need to do is do some thinking, and we need a city council that itself is business friendly. That means we need people on that city council who understand the importance of expanding our tax base and doing it in a way which is friendly to our own community, friendly to our residents. Our residents have to approve what's going on here. We cannot move forward and leave our residents behind. They have to have input. That means we need to have the kind of dialogue which was very difficult to do when we were an at-large city. Because every one of our at-large representatives has to cover the whole city. But now, because we are in a district situation, it's possible for our district representatives to be dealing with smaller communities, getting feedback from those communities, communicating with those communities, and coming up with ideas, local ideas, which was so difficult to do in an at-large community. So I think the potential is there. I know that the energy is there. I really like these people up here, by the way. I know that they're sincere and that they really want to see the kind of changes, kind of progressive changes, which will move us forward, but still respect the small town feel that we have. And really, that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that we can move forward progressively, but we preserve what's best about, we preserve why we're here, and not let that slip away from us. So I'm going to turn this over now to Rich.
So I dragged my fiance Jason here to Monterey Park. We used to live in LA, and I convinced him to move here. And since he's lived here on Friday nights and Saturday nights, when we're looking for some place to eat, I try to keep it in Monterey Park. But we often end up in Alhambra or St. Gabriel or Pasadena. And part of the reason is because as much as we want to spend our money here, there aren't enough businesses. There are a lot of empty storefronts and a lot of empty restaurants. And I think part of the reason why that is the case is because, as Alan said, we do need some creativity in terms of how we attract entrepreneurs. My father owned his own small business for over 35 years. And that entrepreneurial spirit is really strong here in Monterey Park. There are a lot of people of my generation who have graduated from Marquette, gone on to college, and have started these amazing small businesses. We had one, I remember a few years ago, Fluff Ice down at Atlantic Times Square, class in town, but they faced challenges. And I think part of the reason for that is because we need a city council that is going to enable small entrepreneurs to be able to open up their businesses here. We need to be able to support them through the chamber and through other means to ensure that they can run healthy businesses. I think the other thing that's really special about Monterey Park is our food culture here. We love to eat. And I always tell this story because my father has a friend who lives in Arizona. He drives 6 hours once a month to come here to eat, and then drives back. And I can't imagine doing that, but that's how special our mom and pop restaurants are here. And we need to capitalize on that spirit and that sense of nostalgia and love for our restaurants. I want to do things that will elevate those mom and pop restaurants that we have here in our city, attract more diners. We already do, thanks to a lot of the reviews that Jonathan Gold wrote about us in the LA Times. We need to build on that. And that's what I want to do here in the City Council.
Actually, if I wanted to respond to the questions about increasing the businesses and also the younger families to come to Monterey Park, I think to me, development is one of the key, because all the businesses, they are looking for the right location to put their business in. So if we don't have the right locations, that they will not attract a certain type of businesses. Let's say marketplace. We have the marketplace in front of the freeway. And so Costco, Home Depot, we can attract mainstream business to come to Monterey Park. But then we have to think about is, do we have more locations and maybe remodel or maybe rebuild a certain street or development to attract a certain type of businesses. So I'm actually I'm a member of General Plan 2040. And then we're thinking about how we can attract, let's say, the downtown Monterey Park, the Garfield Street, to attract more of a newer development, maybe at least a facelift. We're not trying to change the culture, but then we want to attract younger families and also more different businesses to come to Monterey Park. So I think that would be one of the key. And also when I walk the district, I walk about 3,000 families already. So I figure out a lot of the family, the houses there, more of the older generations. And now we want to attract younger families, and they're looking for smaller, maybe more affordable housing, but newer development. So we may actually want to see if we can have mixed-use development in a smaller scale that located maybe in a less traffic area, because we want everything balanced. We don't want overdeveloped in a certain area. So make sure everything that has to be balanced with traffic and development. So this is actually our job as a general plan, and also hopefully my job will be in the future council. Thank you.
Well, Arthur, thank you for asking that great question. So Arthur and I actually serve on the city's Economic Development Advisory Commission, yes, along with Phil Smith here. And, you know, when we have our meetings, we share a lot of ideas in our conversation, a lot of opinions about what's good, what's not good about Monterey Park. You know, we actually did an exercise called a SWOT analysis, in which we talked about all the great qualities, and I think definitely, which no one disagrees, is its reputation as a cultural and food mecca. We also agree that historically it's been a gateway to many communities, for many people who come in successive ways to want to live here. And so we definitely have rich resources. I mean, we're one of the few cities that actually has a community college, and we're in close proximity to Council LA. And I think that one of the focuses I want to make is workforce development. So, as a school board member on the Garvey Elementary School District, I'm very proud that we actually have a partnership. We built a partnership with East LA College, and in that partnership, we not only provided college-level courses to our students, but also for their parents to do career development. And I believe that in a community like ours, we should be focusing on workforce skills development, not just for our youth who may be exploring careers or want to look at opportunities to go to East LA College, but their parents as well. Because a lot of the parents who work here, a lot of the adults who work here, they work in so many industries we talked about, food service industry, and that's wonderful. But how we give those adults the opportunity to improve their skills, to move up the economic ladder, and I think that is something that has been not missing, but something we need to focus more on workforce development. And furthermore, I think you just heard a lot of great ideas from the other candidates. So those of you who've probably gone to council meetings or been involved in commissions, there's not a lack of ideas. I think there's a lack of wherewithal to overcome partisan bickering and to, find out what's common good. I'll give you an example. In our commission meetings, we talk about how, for example, the downtown BID, because of the way the BID is structured, sometimes council members are deadlocked. And as a consequence, they can't even agree on something like a budget for the BID. Or the fact that when we have conversations about something from traffic to crime, sometimes conversations fall into partisan bickering. And I don't think that's good for policymaking for the city. We know what is possible. Look at the marketplace. I mean, it was a long-term project, but that was done when the city was able to come together through many years of course, advocating, lobbying, and development, and got a great development there. And we have so much potential along Atlantic, along Garvey. For those of you who remember the article about Monterey Park being the third best city in America, if you read very closely, I'm the person they interviewed. And when they thank you. And I was very proud to give that testimony to the Time reporter for Money Magazine. And I talked about that. If you think about potential, we are the epicenter of several freeways. The 10, the 60, 710. We are a transportation hub. We are close proximity to Metrolink, to Gold Line. We have so much potential. We are the home, as I mentioned, of a community college. We have the reputation of being a place, a destination. My friends, when they come here, they always come here when they say, hey, let's get dim sum, and I always tell them my opinion. So we have so much resource, we have so much potential. It just requires wherewithal to channel all the good ideas from not just the candidates, but from all of you in the community, and to find common ground in which we can address development, address housing, address workforce development, all these things which, taken holistically, I think can put the city on a much firm and more positive future.
A lot of the work that the General Plan Committee has done over the last year. The booth at the Cherry Blossom Festival, the online surveys that have gone out, and as much effort has been put into it, I do think that, as Alan had said, most of our city is unaware of what the general plan is and what it will mean for residents in the long term. I know a big part of what's going to be in the ballot is changing various land use elements so that we can have more mixed use development. Without knowing all of the specifics yet, do support that, because I do think that for younger families, for people who cannot afford to buy a $900,000 home in Monterey Park, that'll open up opportunities for home ownership, and it will also open up opportunities for small businesses and national name brands to come in, and I think that's really crucial. I do wish that this was on a later ballot, because I do think that the city council members that come in the next cycle can be advocates for the specific elements in it and how it will impact our particular districts and the city as a whole.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I'm on the General Plan 2040 Commission. And so when I first take a look at the plan, we haven't changed much in the last 20 years. So now actually come to us and say, we actually did a lot of survey, actually read a lot of guidelines, and so we actually vote on certain issues. We actually want to boost up the FAR. We wanted to hopefully to have more of a newer developments for affordable housing, and also hopefully create environment for more businesses. So, but then for the timing in the public hearing is not enough time. But then to me, we have done enough outreach. We wanted to hopefully put it on the ballot so that people can start reading and start knowing what's going on. Because if we put it in 3 years or whatever years later, it still come to a point where we don't have enough time. So hopefully we put on the ballot, support that, and hopefully people start reading and knowing what's going on and vote on it. Thank you.
You know, I think my sentiment about this general plan issue is that I do believe that probably there needs to be more public information and education. Now, I myself actually had the opportunity, I personally attended the general plan advisory committee when they deliberated over at City Hall. I've also personally, at the Cherry Blossom Festival, also participated in a survey as well as doing it online. But that's also because, you know, I'm interested in what's going on in the city, but that doesn't mean everyone else is. I've even gone to council meetings as they deliberated about issues like housing overlay, raising height restrictions, about business corridors, about what is needed to let the city move forward. However, if you went to the last council meeting in which they discussed this, it was not a very well-attended council meeting, and therefore I think that the question is, was it wise or not? Well, a lot of work has been put in to update the general plan, and we have to do it. I know. But my concern is that, yes, without public education, it may not do well. And so I think that's something I would have done differently, make sure there was more public education and informed about what the impact is.
Do I stand here? Yes. Here. Hello, candidates. I have a question as a civilian, and that is involving during your introductions, your meet and greet 2-minute speech, you had mentioned just very briefly a little bit about air quality, about the environment. I guess I want to know more about what each of you as City Council member would be doing to do anything about the environment, about the climate, about air quality, all that kind of stuff. How aggressive are you going to be when it comes to things like recycling or waste management or things like that? Because I feel like although the top priorities for many of you are like things about business growth and safety and potholes. Jobs, sure, yes, but this is an important issue as well, and I would like to hear more from each of you what you're going to do. Yes.
1 minute, right? Okay, I'll try to be more succinct. Okay, absolutely. Air quality is very important. I'm actually participating in the Purple Sensor project. I have a sensor in front of my house in which I get to monitor what level of air pollution and also contribute to a regional study. And I think that that's something that we should really expand and roll out so that as many residents participate so that we know what are we facing. And as for what the city can do, I believe the city can certainly lead by example. Its facilities install more solar panels to try and reduce our carbon footprint. As a school board member at the Garden School District, we actually entered into a contract last year so that hopefully by the end of the decade, 80% of our energy will come from solar energy. I think we also need to look at how we improve our public transit so that there's greater connectivity to the regional transit system. We encourage alternative transportation. We encourage ride sharing. I think all which taken together can reduce our carbon footprint, as well as looking at our building codes, building standards. Are we encouraging building codes that are sustainable, that encourages a clean development? And yes, I have read, yes, but that's what I would do.
Actually, I have a lot of passions in green environment. I'm a person that always love recycling. I care about where the recycle will go. I visit the recycle centers. I care about how we're going to have the different color of bin, and later on figure out that if we do our own recycling, that even less efficient than other people doing it. So I care about also solar panel, electric, and also I own my own electric car. And so I would support all kinds of green and recycle issues for the city. But as long as everything has to be a balance to see what our budget is, and also how we can really effectively deliver that to different residents. So I'm a big supporter of that. Thank you.
As a grassroots organizer, this was the one issue that me and my friends cared deeply about when we started talking about issues in Monterey Park. We throw all of our trash into the same bin here in Monterey Park, and we had big questions about what that meant. A few months ago, I had the opportunity, Ed Chen was nice enough to take me on a tour of our Athens facility, our MRF, and I got to see how our recyclables are taken out of the waste stream and out of the landfill, and how a significant percentage of our recyclables are actually recycled. It's been really interesting going door to door because this issue comes up a lot with my neighbors who say, well, either they've lived in Taiwan or in other countries, and over there they recycle. Why do we throw over? So I've been doing a lot of educating. You're welcome, Ed, about what that means in our city. I think that what we have to do, because Monterey Park is a relatively small city, and we can do a lot here, we can be a model for other cities in our area about what environmental sustainability looks like in Monterey Park, including transportation, including solar panels and all of that. And so we can be a leader in this field.
I recycle. I drive an electric car. I think we all, first of all, each one of us needs to accept some responsibility for our environment. We can look to our government to do what it can to create a checklist, a green checklist, so that every aspect of government activity can be matched up to that green checklist. And let's do whatever is feasible, whatever is cost effective. Unfortunately, we don't control our own air. When there's a fire somewhere else, we're all coughing here in Monterey Park. So there are certain limitations that we have. But it really is a case of, as my colleagues say, a willingness to do things. We don't recycle here. We could recycle. There are cities smaller than Monterey Park that recycle. But again, this requires a degree of education and community cooperation because habits are difficult to break. It may take us a while to do so, but I'm sure that we can improve our green profiling.
Well, it's important for our climate. I worry about the future of our kids. I remember when I was a 6-year-old, running around here in Monterey Park, and all the brown air really hurts your lung. And it's nice to see that we're getting to a point where the air is a lot cleaner, but it's not. We have we're trying to go by 3 freeways. A lot of cars getting off and on the freeway. It's working with our neighboring cities on the traffic issues to make sure that things are running. Doing solar energy, our school district will be putting solar energy at all of our schools pretty soon. And even the city should be looking at that too, putting solar energy and really looking at recycling. I know they have environmental that they're doing, and you know what, Athens is really great. I know they do recycling at the center itself. Because people ask me, and I said, you know what, they do it at the center. They recycle, they go through all that trash. But so I hope that we can have a cleaner future for our family.
So I'm interested to know how you guys, if you're voted in, how you guys would work with Monterey Park Police on improving our public safety and traffic. As you know, not only are we known as the 3rd best city, but we also have one of the higher insurance rates of the city. People make ridiculous lefts on high congested area, backing up all the ramps. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts on it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, actually, for the last couple of years, 2 to 3 years, I've been working with the Police Officers Association, identifying problems that we can anticipate. So I want to share a few things with you because I think it's really important. We're coming up to a unique situation with respect to the police department. A kind of tsunami of retirements, of transfers, of promotions, and we're going to be in a situation in the next 3 to 5 years in which we are actually not going to be able, unless we put a plan in place, we're not going to be able to replace the officers who are leaving the service for one reason or another. In other words, our police department is actually going to start to shrink. I have a plan that I actually don't want to discuss publicly because I don't want to discuss it in the media. I want to discuss it on the level of the city council. But this is something which is going to impact all of us because right now we have only 5 officers driving around. That is if they're not eating lunch or making a report or doing something else. We have 1.6 officers for every 10,000 people in the city. It's not a sustainable situation.
Thank you, Alan. I learned of that reality about our police department recently in conjunction with hearing all of these stories always about how wonderful our police department is. Your question was specifically to road traffic and safety, and I think that we need to take a 21st century approach to solving issues of traffic. There's a lot of data that we can collect and determine which intersections are the most dangerous, what times of day are causing the most accidents, and I think we need to use that kind of data, collect that kind of data, use it to help our police department be able to make the best decisions in terms of how they're patrolling and how they can curb really bad driving. I think that, as somebody who's endorsed by the Police Officers Association, I want to make sure that they have the resources that they need to be able to execute a really strategic plan to address these issues. Recently, we had a really terrible tragedy just across the street. A young gentleman died because he was hit by a car, and there's a lot of intersections in our city where it's dark and unsafe, and I want to make sure to work with police to solve that.
Actually, I wanted to say I'm fully supportive of police officer. And then the main thing is we wanted to sit down with them and see how we can cooperate with them. Because a lot of the issues that, as a resident, we may not be able to see what the internal operations will be. So I had a chance to actually talk to them about what they're concerned. But as a city councilman, I think we have to partner with them and help them, assist them. Because some of the issues that they will tell you, let's say they don't have enough parking, let's say for the employees, and that actually really affect their daily job. And also maybe their tool, their resources is not enough. So as a city council, we want to partner with them and make sure that they have enough resources to really perform their job. And so make them happy, and also for budget-wise, hopefully we can fulfill their pensions, and also we have to support them in all aspects. So hopefully, again, I'm fully supported with the policemen.
Thank you. It was very enlightening for me to participate in a ride-along. And for any of you in the audience who have never done that, I would definitely encourage you to do a ride-along with the police, because they can tell you firsthand, the areas where there's crime, and also listen to the statistics as well as the needs of the police department. And I think that to address the question about traffic, about safety, well, definitely it's something that I want to work closely with the police officers in this city. I do agree that we can improve our staffing levels. I agree that we need to also look at how we can look at the data about where are intersections that maybe could use an extra stop sign or first traffic signal because of the level of load, and also of where we can improve code enforcement, as well as in making sure that traffic safety is a priority. And to that end, I do, if elected, want to work very closely with our police officers to make sure that personnel levels are where we need to be, resources are given so that they can do their job. And that's also why the Mark Park Police Officer Association endorsed me as well for seat number 4.
What I was going to say is, without the resources, we can't increase our police patrols. We have to have a good, solid development and a tax base to have the funds to increase police patrol in the area. With the school safety is most important to me as a school board member, and we take that very seriously. We work with our Monterey Park Police Department and Hamburg Police Department on school safety. And there's a lot of issues in the city because of all the traffic, and we really need to look at how where we could put extra signs that just to warn people that there's a traffic light ahead around a bend, and have continually provide education to our citizens.
And the mission of the chamber is to promote the local business. I understand that our city council they really pro-chamber. And some of them, they think that the resident is more important than business. So this is an outside of thinking. If the tax revenue is going up because the business is good, chamber is the one that will promote the local business. Are you planning to support chamber, and you think that is collaborate with chamber to work with the city and to tackle the business?